Have you ever wondered why you study for hours yet you still perform poorly on your tests and exams?
I will not just be revealing the study technique that literally saved me hours of study last semester. I'll also be explaining step by step how to use it so you don't mess it up. Rather, you can't mess it up. So this is the technique. Imagine you have a plot of land, a large plot of land, and you were given that plot of land to farm on it. It's a very large land, and normally on your own is something that you are not able to farm on. I hope this is as simple as possible because I'm trying to explain it as simple as possible. The land is large. For you to be able to farm on that land and complete it at the time that your boss gave you to farm on the land, it's going to be very difficult. In fact, you are not going to be able to complete it. By the time you are supposed to deliver and they are supposed to come and check on the land, you are not done. What then happens? You get only a fraction of the amount that you are supposed to be paid. And not just that, but you put all this hard work and time into doing this work for you only to get a fraction of what you got. But imagine you hired other people, like just two other people, to help with that land. You would get to farm on the land, the portion that you are able to farm. And not just that, you also have enough time to do your life's activities and even probably hustle and do another thing that will get you money. You would still be getting a fraction of the amount, but this time you're not just getting a fraction, but you also got your time back and resources back. The hard work will be reduced, the time will be reduced, which means you have much more time and you were able to cover the work in much less time. I call it breaking study. And no, you're not actually breaking anything in reality. Here's how the method works. Basically, you divide your work into sections. Assuming you have like 10 chapters in your book, you gather about 5 friends and divide the work between the 5 of you. Everybody will get one chapter and hopefully the chapter that they are all good at. Then you'll come together and teach the chapter, stimulating the Feynman technique as well as testing each other to make sure that those being taught the ones they don't know will also understand the concept better. But you know this now and you probably think you are ready. You think you just jump into this method. If you don't know what I'm about to tell you right now, the steps for you to take, you probably even mess this method up and end up doing the opposite and wasting all your time. Before you can even divide the work, the first step is obviously to get people right. For this step, I don't want you to get a large crowd. Maximum 5, minimum 2. That's it. Even if you just have one person, that's good enough. So you have gotten people, but don't divide the work yet. Go back to your Q&A notes. If you don't know what Q&A is, it's just the method of study that I use to identify the concepts that I'm good at and concepts that I'm not good at. That helps me to focus and helps me to focus on the concepts that I am not so good at. So you can go over your Q&A notes, and from your Q&A you identify what you are good at. Mark those topics. You pick 3 topics. These are your strongest topics, and these are the topics that you will be studying from. This is a topic that you give yourself to read. Do the same for this other person. Ask the person to identify the topics that they are good at and strongest at. Topics that they are good at that you're not so good at. Topics that they are not so good at that you are good at. Do this. Give them topics that you don't know and pick topics that you know. What I want you to do now is to set questions on these topics. Your partners should do the same. While they are practicing to teach you, they should set questions on the topics that they are practicing to teach. If you are 5 and you have to teach 2 topics, you set questions like a practice exam. If you can do more than one, good. But For time's sake, just set one practice exam that probably has 50 questions. Why 50 is because more than 50 will be too much and less than 50 will be too little to cover the most important segments of the topics. Where do you get questions from these practice problems? You can get it from past questions, repeated past questions that you notice from this topic, and also the back of the textbook questions or summary of the textbook. These are the most important aspects of the topic, and they are the things that you should be focusing on asking during your practice test. So now you've gotten a partner, you've gotten what you are good at, you've separated the work, divided the work, you've practiced what you are good at, and set practice problems from what you are good at. What I want you to do now is to actually teach. What this helps you to do is reinforce the knowledge that you already know and make sure it sticks. So whatever question comes out from that, you'll be able to answer it and remember. The process of setting the past questions also help you to know where to focus on while studying. And while you are setting these questions, you also know the answers. So it's also stimulating your active recall. When it is your friend's turn to teach, you will pay close attention, ask questions, take notes. At the end of the section, you will collect the practice questions from your friend, answer it, and your friend will clarify whatever you are not good at. But if you don't have any friends, you can still do something about it, and that is to use AI. I actually made a separate video. Check it out and see you in that video.